Hey everybody, welcome back to Pucking Around Podcast. It's our episode 82 already. So yeah, they're piling up already. All right, we got a good episode for you tonight. We're missing a couple of the boys, but we're still going to do a good episode for you. We're going to we're going to continue on our divisional talk. We have the top four teams in the Pacific Division for you tonight, and we're going to do a who'd you rather. Who'd you rather, franchise forward, franchise defenseman, or franchise goalie? We're going to try to decide that right here. And then we're going to talk about the big topic of the day, and that is the fact that Kiril Kaprizov of the Minnesota Wild apparently turned down a contract offer of $16 million for the AAV, and I believe it's $128 million overall. Would have made him the highest paid player for AAV and the highest contract ever in the NHL ever. So apparently he refused that. So we're going to talk about that. To do that with me, I got the boys with me here. So we're going to lead off, I think, with that Kiril Kaprizov talk. Yeah. So who wants to start off with that? Cam, you want to start off with that? What did you think of that?
It's just been a big story. I can't remember who broke it out. I know it's been a hotly contested topic, and it's
apparently Friedman did.
I think it was Saravalli that had it first.
Oh, both of them. Okay, I forgot it, but both of them around the same time. But it might have been Saravalli first.
It doesn't matter. One of them did, but then it was like chaos afterwards. And then I listened to the 32 Thoughts podcast, and so it's just kind of like that's been a revolving, door of a topic for them. So it's just been interesting. I don't know. The guy is nuts. I think turning down 8 years, $16 million, and I don't know if I agree with Friedman when he mentions that there might be rumblings of some other teams willing to pay more. I don't know if I agree with that.
You know what the max
I'm hard pressed.
Do you want to know what the max apparently is for any player? So right now, we can do the 8-year, 7-year thing because it changes soon. On an 8-year deal, you can go as high as $19.1 million. But apparently on a 7-year deal, you can do $20.8. That's what I heard today on a podcast. I am not sure how that works, but even if it's $19 million, who's paying $19 million?
It's probably because the AAV is about equivalent or something like that. I don't know.
The extra year or the one last year makes a big difference, apparently. That's a decent sized difference.
Yeah. There's probably some mathematical formula that they did in the NHL to figure that out. I don't know. I think he's nuts. I think he's a great player. Don't get me wrong, but I'm sorry. He's not. I don't see him at $16 million. Call me crazy. I mean, I would have taken that in a heartbeat if I was him. God.
Yeah, no, I agree.
His injury history.
Yeah, I know that's also a big factor, right? Because even Minnesota's willing to give him the money, but at the end of the day, his injury history. Well, for me, it would be one concerning, and if those rumors are true, right, that there's another team that's willing to go max, man, that's at the end of the day, I would think as a player, you want to win, right? Any player, I'm assuming, would want to win. You play to win, right? So if you're gonna handicap a team by taking the max 20%, you're whichever team has that kind of cap space will not be able to build around you properly. Right. So I don't
There's no contender with that kind of money. No contender. So if he wants that, he's going to the Ducks, or he's going to, he's got to go to a bottom team.
But he's not that player.
Have the money. Sorry?
But he's not that player. He's not that player that he's not a Connor McDavid or a Sidney Crosby that where you could pay him that amount of money and then he could single-handedly carry you into a Stanley Cup final and then you guys will just lose it in Game 7.
Right.
Edmonton. But he's not that player. He has 319 games played, 185 goals, 201 assists, 386 points plus 71. Yes, he's a phenomenal player. I'm not going to contest that. But he's not Connor McDavid. He's not Sidney Crosby. He's not some of the top elite talents Yeah, he's not Leon Draisaitl.
Just look
And
at Draisaitl.
if
I'm sorry to interject, but look at Draisaitl just signed for $14 million, right? Draisaitl had 4 50-goal seasons so far, 4 or 500-point seasons. Like, he's had the pedigree to get that kind of money. As Kaprizov,
it's again because I listen to the 32 Thoughts podcast, and there's just some points of contention there I have with Elliot, where like he mentions each player's situation is different from one another. I'm like, yes, but you can still compare skill sets of the player and then determine their contract value from that. I'm like, that's what happens all the time in the offseason.
yeah.
I just if someone offered him 16 million, I'm sorry, not 16. Yeah, 16 million per year, right? And he didn't take that. I don't know where the smoke is coming from that there's potentially 19 or 20 million out there for him. But with his injury history, it's probably Pittsburgh because Dubas will do it. And he'll attach a no movement clause with it too, because that's the Dubas way.
I want to say, because I listened to a Minnesota fan podcast today to say they were talking about this. I want to say from that, I think the team might have been Chicago that they're talking about. That's willing to pay him that kind of money.
They would have the cap space to do it.
Fine. Finally, give Bedard someone to work with. You know what? That's the only team I'll accept. Nobody.
Who are you gonna put around them?
I don't know. Boston has a bunch of fourth liners.
I know the cap's going up, but like seriously. And then in Chicago, they've got some good draft picks coming. Like these kids eventually going to want money too. Like I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I don't think it's very smart to give anybody that kind of money.
Yeah, but see, like a team like Chicago could do it just because like the young players that they do have that are still coming up, they're still going to be in their entry levels or getting like hopefully like in their case like bridge deals, right? Like. So I guess like you could, if you're Chicago, give Kaprizov like a max term, max money kind of deal, and then at least you don't have to worry about the rest of your young guys signing until another 2-3 years down the line. And hopefully by then, like the cap just skyrockets to something insane. So hopefully that 19-20 million won't look that bad. But again, but to Cam's point, like
it'll still be bad.
I think Kaprizov is a top player in this league. Yes, hands down. But one, he's not a center. And two, he's not Connor McDavid. He's not Nathan McKinnon. He's not Leon Draisaitl. So, and like, you're hearing like McDavid, like he'll probably sign for 16 because, like at the end of the day, you want your team to be able to build a contender around you. So you're not going to hit that max money. So like, if someone gives Kaprizov 19, does Connor McDavid now does Connor McDavid sign until like he's gonna be like wait hold on, like let's see what Kaprizov is actually gonna on the open market, but I don't think so. I think he's just gonna end up signing. But it's
could you imagine
knows what this is? Who knows what the cause and effect is gonna be of this?
And think about this real quick. If Kaprizov signs a $19 million contract, does that incentivize McDavid to do a 1-year deal and then sign a bigger term? Like depends. Like I don't know. Like you know what I mean? You guys mentioned it. Like if that's the cap ceiling next year, or if that's the highest that the player is going to be able to be played, I don't know. But then again, I think right now for McDavid, I think winning for him is far more important than the money because he's been to 2 straight Stanley Cup Finals and lost both of them. One of them I would say convincingly, the other one close enough, I suppose.
Yeah.
They had a shot. I think they should have won Game 7. I'll die on that hill. But I'm hard pressed for a team to offer him more than 16 million. I wouldn't even offer him 16 million. People go ahead, call me crazy. Call me crazy. Anyone out there can call me crazy. I'm not offering a guy like Kiril Kaprizov, who barely has played a full season, $16 million. Sure, he's over a point per game player, but there's also point per game players out there that can make it through the entire season,
right,
and make less money.
Like so, if his game total is only 60 games a season, it's not. You know what I mean? If you're paying 16 million to somebody,
average.
he better be getting you 120 plus points a fucking season. You know, that's how I look at it. So who are you going to give that kind of? Maybe McDavid gets that.
Kucherov.
You know, yeah, but again, only guys that that you have a track record that they could get there. We don't know that from Kaprizov whether he could hit those kind of numbers. We know he's a point a game player plus, but is he like a point and a half game? Because that's if 16 million, I want him to be getting a point and a half a game.
Yeah, but now also like something we haven't touched upon is that maybe he refused it just because he doesn't want to re-sign in Minnesota. That could be,
that's the theory. That's the theory.
That could be.
There
yeah,
is
exactly.
That is one theory. Yes,
it could be. Maybe like he looks at like Minnesota's always been a team that like I've never been high on. Like I really just don't like the way they're built, especially down the middle. Like now Marco Rossi, whatever. We'll see what happens, what he can become. But an X a good center, but like I was never crazy about them down the middle. And other than Kaprizov, you have Boldy, he's a top player. He's a really good player. But like, I don't know, this is one of those teams I always thought like just overachieved or we're just always in the murky middle.
Yeah.
So it's possible that maybe Kaprizov sees this and says, you know what, like, yeah, we got some good young guys coming, but are we really going to be in that competitive window while I'm in my prime right now? You know, so maybe he just sees that and says, you know what, like, maybe I'll test free market. And maybe that's why he refused. And who knows, like maybe July 1st next year, he signs for $13 million with Team X, you know? So I think that could be an option too.
Because I got to think a guy that wants to take that kind of a percentage of the cap, he doesn't care about winning. He cares about making money.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that maybe he doesn't. Maybe he wants to win.
Yeah, he wants out. That's a theory that he might want out. I'm thinking he wants to go to a big market, you know, like New York, LA. He wants a big market team where he's got a lot of promotional stuff he can do. And, you know, I have a feeling that's what he wants.
Panarin for Kaprizov 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah. But like Panarin,
New York would do it.
Panarin, who wanted that too. He wanted to play in New York. It was a huge market and he wanted that. I can see this being the same for Kaprizov. Like Minnesota's a hockey mad market, maybe, but it's not a huge market. It's not, you know,
maybe not, but I would still say that like Minnesota is one of the largest, like, you know, hockey states in the United States. I mean, I don't know about that. Like, you know, I wouldn't just throw them out the window. Like, you know,
but if he wants a big city like New York or LA or something, it's not necessarily that it's a hockey mad market. He just wants the big market, the big city.
Yeah. Well, you know, to Eric's point about him not being high on the Wild, I'm convinced now more than ever. Like, you know, this year they'll actually make a decent splash. I mean, they were crippled. Like they had $14.5 million in dead money. Like they couldn't do anything because they bought out Ryan Suter and Zach Parise's contract. Now those are effectively off the books, so like they can actually go and do something. You might actually have a hockey team this year. So it's
but you go with say you have that money tied up for so long and it's handcuffed to you. Now it's free. You're gonna put it in one guy.
Yeah. You know, imagine what that's going to do to Marco Rossi too. Like this prick also held out, like, you know, for that long, and like, you know, I mean, as they're entitled to, but like, you know what I mean? He wanted a lot of the big pay. Like maybe they just have a whole bunch of egos, and that's going to be bad for that locker room. Yeah, I don't think they have that strong of a locker room. Yeah, so I imagine how this is going to impact.
And I also just want to say, like, yeah, look, that money is getting freed up and everything, and that's great for them. But at the end of the day, like, you're not going to take that money and rebuild your team in free agency because, like, you saw what it looked like this year free agency. There's nothing available. More and more players are just staying with their teams, so nothing's available. And if you want to build your team through free agency, you're a fool. That's just, and that's why I like, again, back to my point from before. I actually like some of the prospects that Minnesota has coming. And I think in 2-3 years, they could really be a good team just with the young defense that they have. They have that center from Russia that's coming. Sorry, I can't remember his name, but they have a good young center coming from Russia. But that's it. But these are pieces, but that are not win now pieces. These are pieces 2-3 years down the line that once they develop and become what they can become, they'll be a good team. But Kaprizov, like I'm saying, is like he's in his prime now. He needs to win now. So maybe that's his thought process, is that like, yeah, this team could be good in 3-4 years, but I want to win now before like it's too late. And with his injury history, who knows how long he has left to play, you know?
And
So
how
that's
old
why
is he?
that's honestly, to me, that's the
He's
only thing that
28.
makes sense. Because I'm sorry, 16
28.
million, like Marner got 12, and like Marner's is a top score every year. Fucking Rantanen got 12. You're telling me you want more than 16? I don't know.
And at 28, so say and he's gonna want like an 8-year deal, right? So that take him to 36. Half of that deal is he's not gonna be more than likely not gonna be living up to $16 million.
They'll just buy it out again.
Yeah, and I could imagine buying out a contract like that
Ooh.
for 4 years, $16 million on a
They'll
4.
just do
Wow,
that.
that's crazy.
Minnesota's they did it once before.
They did it once before.
Twice, actually. If you think about it, they bought out the Ryan Suter contract and the
Technically,
Parise contract.
Yeah, no,
And
listen. And maybe that's why he wants out, is he doesn't like what he sees. There might be a lot of reasons, but I think the speculation is that he's probably doing that because he wants out, or it's just the beginning of negotiations. It's just the beginning of he knows he won't get that. Although they offered it to him, so I don't even know where I'm going with that.
He declined it.
Minnesota's way. I don't know if they're starting at 16 million. What are they willing to go up to, though?
That's just it. I don't think they're gonna go higher. I think 16 is their cap, and I think 16 is too high for him. You know, Draisaitl got 14, Marner got 12. At least Marner's showed some success. Like he's been a consistent, high 90s, 90-point player.
And
arguably, yes. Kiril Kaprizov,
too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so then that's what, the equivalent to a $14 million.
Let's say 13 and a half. Let's just say 13.
Probably more than that, but
13, 14.
Well,
let's say
13 and a half to 14 million, because let's be real, they don't really see the $14 million. They have the agency fees, the league dues, they have a whole bunch.
Yeah.
They have all kinds of dues. So like they say that, but it's not really like what you're actually taking home. But yeah, look at all those players. McDavid's making 12. Like Matthews is making 13, I think, right around there, 12 and a half. Like I just don't see Kiril Kaprizov with his injury history warranting that kind of money, because it's high risk, high reward, in my opinion.
But they offered
gifted player, talented player. But you know what a good comp is? David Pastrnak.
But you know the point, they offered it to him. So like they actually offered him that kind of money.
They also bought out Ryan Suter and Zach Parise's contracts and left them with dead $14 million in dead money for like
I'm just saying, because if it's negotiation, they got to negotiate. But I guess you're right that they probably stick right. This is our offer.
I would have asked to negotiate down. Why are you just giving them $16 million?
Well, then
that's your floor.
You start at 14, maybe, if you're willing to go to 16.
But 16 is your floor. I think if that's because that's the only contract we had offered. 16's your floor.
Like, how desperate
are
you?
What is your ceiling?
What you were saying earlier about how hard it is to build through the draft. Maybe that's why they're willing just right away come in like with a number they figured he wouldn't refuse, and at least they've got him secured. I guess I don't know.
I also know what you have secured too. Last place for the last 4 years of that fucking contract.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I would ask him where you want to go, and let's start.
They're not ruling that out.
No, I know that. Oh, another point on that. Last contract that he signed on the last day of training camp. So, maybe it's part of his negotiations. I don't know.
You know what's funny? His agent is the same agent as Artemi Panarin.
Yeah, well,
just fun fact.
Wanting to go to a big market,
so
makes sense.
I don't know. Well, agents are always going to do the best they can for the client. I don't disagree with that, but also you got to have a little sense of realism here. Like, it's good to like boast yourself a little bit and get yourself as high as you possibly can, but also internalize and know your real self-worth. So like, shoot higher than what you're worth, but don't go crazy. You know what I mean? See what they're willing to give you. But the fact that he turned down 8 by 16 is nuts to me.
Right. And it's not his agent.
He's only been in the league 5 years.
It's not his agent that turned it down. He turned it down.
I know.
So
But
like
I'm talking
anybody
about
thinking, well, the
Kaprizov.
agent, no, he had to turn that down, not the agent. So
I'm aware. I'm
he must
talking
want
about
more
Kaprizov.
money, or he wants to move elsewhere. I mean, there's really
He's only been in the league.
not too many other options, right?
Well, the only other
He's
thing
only been
I
in the league
heard, but
5 years.
yeah, the only other thing I heard, but I think Elliot Freeman shot it down, and not I think this one, but the last one is that he's looking for a shorter term deal, like he only wants 3 or 4 years, and
Yeah.
that Minnesota's like, no, if we're gonna lock you up, we're gonna lock you up. That could be another thing. That could be the holdup where Kaprizov is like, no, I'm willing to sign for 3 years or 4 max, but then Minnesota's like, no, we want 8.
That's true.
Hold on.
Could be an
Time out.
issue, but at the same time, if I'm Minnesota with a player like that who's kind of had this injury history and he only wants a short-term deal, like 4 years, you know what?
Time
Why
out.
not? Like that's maybe it's the best way to go.
Could you imagine signing someone to 3 or 4 years at $16 million? Fire that GM.
What?
Like, could you just imagine?
Because in 3-4 years, when you got to re-sign him, what's he getting then? At least at 8 years, you locked him down for that. You're not going to pay more than that.
Oh yeah, no, I get that 100%. But at the end of the day, if he's like, well, it's a 3-4 year deal or I walk, and you're in Minnesota shoes, you got to do what you got to do. Like, and
Trade him.
a lot of people are saying that this might become more of a trend in the NHL, is that players are going to take shorter term deals because of where the cap is going.
And
you know
also,
what? At the end of the day, how many of these 8-year contracts do we see where like the last 3 years are like?
Well, you're not going to see him anymore.
Yeah, it's over.
Exactly.
I don't know when that kicks in, but it's almost
next season. It goes to 6-7. From 7-8, it goes to 6-7.
So July 1st is there. You can't.
September 15, actually. September 15. That's
Oh.
when the actual CBA expires. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, I get
September
that.
15 next year, like next season.
Oh, right, okay. Anyway,
so technically, again, I might be wrong on this, but this is what I heard.
I think you might be right, but I mean, it's coming to an end soon, so and it makes sense. Signing even 8 years is too long, if you ask me. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I find eight, especially like with his injury history, and how many times 8-year deals with older players rarely work out, or like the last 2 or 3 years, you're really regretting that contract.
Yeah,
maybe if he wants short term, fuck it, just give him short term. Just keep him for like 3-4 years, and then you see what happens later.
You see guys with like $7-8 million contracts at the end, and you're regretting it. Imagine 16. Even with the cap increase, it's not good, in my opinion.
All right, guys. Before we move on to the next topic, before we move on to our our continuation of the divisional discussion, does Kaprizov stay or get traded, or does he walk? There's 3 major differences there, I think.
Well, they'd be stupid to let him walk.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he has a no movement clause. That's why I asked.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
yeah.
He has a no okay, but if he wants to move elsewhere, he'll give a team.
No.
And there'll be a team that will want him and sign him at a decent number.
If he wants to.
Yeah. Well, then he can go back to Russia if he doesn't want to.
Just imagine trying to find a trade partner. Sorry, go ahead.
The NHL, they'll find a trade partner. Jeez.
No, basically, I'm just saying, like, if I'm Minnesota and like this, if again they know better than I do, obviously, if he really doesn't want to sign for whatever reason, you have to sit down with him and like, okay, we know you have a no movement clause, but we're not going to let you just walk out the door for nothing. Can you at least give us 1 to 3 teams that you'd be willing, like,
where would you like to
go to? Because you can't just let him walk out the door for nothing. Nope. You can't, and you can't make it linger too long. And honestly, if that's what he's thinking now, where he's like, listen, I don't want to be here. If I'm Minnesota, I trade him now. I don't know if I wait till the deadline.
Yeah. Cut your losses, and the quicker you cut them and move on, the quicker you reach that destination. Again, the longer you let that go, it's not good for morale or anything,
You can get a good return for him too. Like Chicago will give you a good return. You'll
Yeah.
get Teuvo Teravainen and probably maybe Tyler Bertuzzi. I would take those two.
And if you could do a sign and trade, like if let's say Chicago really is that team, and he's like, yeah, you know what, I would really like to go play in Chicago, then you do a sign and trade, and you get an even better return than you would if you just trade him at the deadline, as
Yep.
is, you know.
That's it. Make the most of what you can.
So where do you guys stand? Does he sign, meaning that he stays? Does he get traded, or does he just walk?
Signs.
My personal opinion, if it is true that he refused that much money in that term, I think he's not there next year. He either gets traded or walks.
So is he walking or is he getting traded?
Well, it's because it's hard to say, because at the end of the day, like if I'm Minnesota, I trade him if he's just gonna walk.
Oh,
So
well, I don't
guess
give
I'll
a
say
fuck
trade.
if you're Minnesota. Okay, you say trade. I also say trade. I don't think he signs. I don't know. I don't think he signs right now.
I'm going to be the contrarian. He'll sign eventually.
Okay.
Eventually, yeah.
He'll sign.
That's a possibility.
And stay with the team is what I'm saying. That's all. That's what I got. Listen, he signed at his last contract. It was the last day of training camp. It's going to go to, and then he'll sign. That's what I see happening probably again. But we'll see. He did turn down the money, so there's got to be something to that. There definitely is something there, because he turned down a lot of freaking money. But I think in the long run, he'll still, whatever, they'll work it out and he'll sign a deal with them.
Maybe he's trying to throw it in Marco Rossi's face, like, see, this is what it does. This is what you do. This is why you're a little weenie. Meanwhile,
who knows?
All right.
Anybody got anything?
We're going to move on to our next topic. All right. Well, that was the talk on Kaprizov. Thanks, guys. So that was fun.
Rex going to be the one that believes that he's. We went longer than I would have thought on that topic, to be honest with you.
It's because it's one of the better players in the NHL.
No, I know.
It's pretty relevant. All right. Well, we're going to move on. We're going to talk about the top 4 teams that finished in the Pacific Division last year in no particular order. The Vegas Golden Knights, the Los Angeles Kings, the Edmonton Oilers, and the Calgary Flames. Yeah. Oof. I think the only one out of these, like 4. I'm saying Vegas is the only lock for me in the playoffs. I don't know if I'm confident on the other 3.
Well, I think Edmonton is a lock for the playoffs, though. But I have to say, LA.
I don't know.
And
they
Calgary,
just played a lot of hockey.
True. But you know what? Like
that's just it. I think Edmonton. Yeah.
That's a conversation for when we get to Edmonton. But I was looking through their roster, because I didn't remember everything they did in the offseason. They actually still have a pretty decent roster, and they're gonna get a couple pretty decent young prospects that should be full timers this year. So we'll see.
That's Edmonton.
Isaac Howard and Savoie.
Oh,
yep.
Yeah, I think.
Are we talking Vegas, or we want to go with?
No, we start with Edmonton. We can talk about Edmonton, because I think you disagree with me and you thought that they're going to be a solid lock.
Yeah,
we can get to Vegas last, because I think they have a lot.
Okay. No, well, like also, like I look at the rest of the teams in the division, and like who can I see that's might like at least 2 other teams that would like knock them out into a wild card, possibly, because the Central could easily bring 5 teams. So who do I think maybe would knock out like Edmonton? The only other team, honestly, is Anaheim, who I think, like I said on the previous pod, that I think is making the playoffs for sure. But then, like, I look at the rest of the division, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, it's true.
And so I think Edmonton is a lock.
I think Edmonton makes it. One thing that to me would stop it if Skinner gets injured.
That's what I'm thinking, or something.
Oh, that's gonna be rectified soon. Don't worry about it.
You think they're gonna sign Carter Hart?
I am 150% sure they're signing Carter Hart.
This is what I heard.
He's not interested, though. He's like
Carter
number 3
Hart
on the list.
does not want to go back to Philadelphia. He wants a fresh start, and he doesn't want to play in Canada.
I don't think that's true.
No, I don't blame him for that.
I don't know.
Sorry to laugh.
So I don't know.
But given what just happened,
you're right. I think he'd rather not have to be living here and playing most of his games here. But I mean, I don't know.
You
But
might be right. Honestly, you might be right.
I think he goes to the U.S., especially, I'm just going to say, and it's not to be political, but with everything going on down there, he can actually get away with everything he just, and not have a problem. He stays in Canada, he's going to hear about it.
No, you
Down
might
there,
be
he's
right.
probably not going to hear about it. So I think he goes to the States.
But then if that is true, if that's true, that Edmonton really has no interest in bringing him in, address the goaltending position in the offseason. Like, fine. Like, look, Jeff Skinner, no, sorry, not Jeff Skinner. Stuart Skinner, fine, whatever. You want to keep him around. He's young. He's shown some potential. He's a bit inconsistent, but that's fine. But you're going to tandem him with Calvin Pickard?
Still, like, I can't believe that's still happening.
Like, I understand this year wasn't a great year for goalies, hitting the market. But you're telling me there was not one goalie better than Calvin Pickard available?
There was. I'm sure there was.
I signed Dan Vladar.
They can always bury Pickard.
Like, he could have easily
makes $1 million.
But they could have easily signed. Let's say the Flyers signed Vladar, but they could have easily signed Vladar, and it would have been a shorter move.
Yeah,
from Calgary to Edmonton. He didn't have to go cross cross country and south. But no, you're gonna run with Skinner and Pickard. It makes no sense to me.
No sense at all to me either.
Edmonton, why I don't say Edmonton is a lock on the playoffs, and again, this is again a crazy take, but they're very thin on defense. If Darnell Nurse gets hurt, if Evan Bouchard gets hurt for a long period of time, you already, in my mind, your defense is already not the best, and it's what your offense honestly helps carry you the majority of the way. Your defense is thin. Like, I would imagine what if they lose defense, what would happen to them is exactly what happened in Boston last year. You lose one of your top or two of your top guys for an extended period of time, you start to derail.
Yeah, it might be that even up front. Look what happened when Hyman got hurt in the playoffs.
Yep.
I mean, that kind of took them out of a chance to really fight for that cup. It
was a goal scorer. It was a goal scorer they needed. Now,
So,
do
yeah,
I think
no, I
Isaac
agree.
Howard? Well, do I think Isaac Howard will come in and like be a good player? Yeah, but I'm not expecting Isaac Howard to be like an extreme needle mover in his rookie season. I'd be impressed. So you're gonna really put a lot of weight on that guy in the playoffs? No, like Matthew Savoie, is Savoie, right?
Savoie, yeah.
Yeah, so you're gonna really anticipate him just to be this amazing needle mover? Sure, some players can do that, but I doubt it. I just doubt it that they're going to be that impactful, especially if you look at the Florida Panthers and what they retained. Everybody, minus Nate Schmidt. Ooh, you lost Nate Schmidt. But no, honestly, that Edmonton could be a potential lock for the playoffs, but I don't. I think there's other teams way better than them. I don't see them in the Cup final. That's for sure.
Yeah, but again, I don't expect Savoie and Howard to be needle movers, to be top players. But what Edmonton just needs is a little more production from their middle six or even their bottom six, and that's been their problem for years. So if they can even give you like between 35 to 45 points and just even out the scoring on all four lines, or at least in your top nine, it'll help, and so you won't be so dependent on Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. So, if they could, because look, they last year they brought in Jeff Skinner and I think it was Victor Arvidsson, if I'm not mistaken, to be those secondary scorers on the team, and it went up in flames because it didn't mesh, didn't work. So if you could bring in those two young guys, and hopefully they could bring that something, anything that just that little maybe bit of more scoring that Jeff Skinner, Arvidsson were supposed to bring for you, but
they're deeper offensively, I think, for sure. Like, I mean, I think Savoy's like, look at like Arvidsson and Skinner. I think they're on the wrong side of their careers. Like Arvidsson he's just a shooter. Like, when he gets the puck, he's going to get it to the net. Like that's his biggest like benefit. He's a good middle six guy who, if you really need to get shots onto the net, that's the guy you turn to. Like, I'm fine with that. Like Boston needed a guy like that, and so we got him. I don't know how good he's going to be, but in all honesty, like I think like Edmonton is going to be better off from the forward group that they got like in the future because of it. So I think at least from their depth from what it looks like, I would say it got a bit better because of the youth and what they could potentially bring. Not Jeff Skinner, who had that one good season then fell off a cliff, and not Victor Arvidsson, who though consistently shoots the puck, still can't score a damn goal. So he can, but I'm being facetious. But yeah. That defense and that goaltending, thinner than paper. They cannot afford an injury for long term.
No.
But like,
and
look,
despite
I think
that, even though every year it's like, how are they going to do it? They get there. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Don't know how.
Well, but then again, also like you use Boston as an example. Like, yeah, Boston was like what's the worst case scenario that can happen? Yeah, you lose your top two defensemen for like a good chunk of the year, and then extra injuries here and there, But that could sink almost any team. Like look at Colorado. Like if Colorado loses Makar for let's say like 2/3 of the season and McKinnon for a little chunk too, like they're sunk. Like, there's so much parity in the league today that you can't afford to go on massive losing streaks or like have a bad month because that'll set you back.
With Colorado, I agree on their forward group. I disagree on their defensive group. Like, yes, losing Makar is a huge impact, but I think their defense is also a bit deeper than their offense. I think losing McKinnon that's it.
No. Call me off the top of my head. Call me crazy. I think overall, Edmonton might actually have the better decor if 100% healthy. Because after Makar, who's scoring on that defense? Sam Girard is not a point producer like he was expected to be. And you traded Byron.
It's not about who's producing the points for me necessarily, is because yes, that's great to have on the defense, but also if your defense can also just be a shutdown defensive piece and move the puck in the offensive zone without necessarily scoring a goal or getting an assist, but just preventing outbreak or breakouts, I think that's just as equally as valuable as an Evan Bouchard who can score. Like, they did get Brent Burns. He's old. Don't get me wrong. He's 40, but he's still playing very well. They still have Josh Manson, Sam Malinsky. Like they have a decent defensive core, and I don't think their season would end. But I understand your point.
That's it. But what Edmonton I like Jake Wallman. Like Jake Wallman's a good defenseman. That's one of the guys I harp on.
Detroit got rid of him for nothing.
But that's the one guy I harp on Steve Eisman for. Like, why the fuck did you have to pay to get rid of this guy? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, God.
And then Matthias Ekholm was hurt in the playoffs last year, so that was a big he played, but you saw him. He wasn't 100% those playoffs. So I don't know. I think Edmonton has, and Brett Kulak, honestly, and Rick should know, he played for the Canadiens for a while, and I thought he was actually pretty decent when he was with the Canadiens too.
Yeah,
he's not a bad defenseman to have in your bottom pair. So I don't know. Look, I don't think Edmonton's defense is as bad as some might think. Again, Darnell Nurse way overpaid. Not way overpaid, but he's at least $2 to $3 million overpaid for what he is. But
it's just thin. No, I'm just saying it's just thin. So if you lose a couple D-man in the regular season, and it's your big ones, yeah. Like if you lose Matthias Ekholm, if you lose, Evan Bouchard, hell, even if you lose Darnell Nurse, remember, the cap rules are now changing. You can't just go and acquire somebody now.
Yeah, that's a big
so for these guys making big money, and Matthias Ekholm is 35.
But can't you kind of say that about every team? If you lose your top two defensemen, you're gonna suck.
Yeah, but
a lot of teams don't have those to replace. A lot of teams don't.
Yeah, but some prospect pools are because then you would have your two pair elevate, right? You would have them elevate. But then I'm talking about, at the depth pieces where it matters, because then your third pair becomes your two pair, and then your bottom pair becomes whatever your fucking AHL top pair probably is. That's the problem. teams will take advantage of that.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. But hey, we'll see. That there's always waivers, there's always trades. Like you could find like some decent
That's
guys
where a
like
good
fill out
GM
like a
comes in.
third pair at worst. Like
That's where a good GM comes in. So if your
Yeah.
GM is
How
good,
much cap space do you think they have?
Edmonton has like no cap space, like 225,000.
225,000. Yep. Who the hell are they affording? Who the fuck are they affording?
It's probably why they didn't reach out for somebody other than Pickard for backup.
I have a nice shiny Jonas Corpusalo.
Honestly, even Corpusalo upgrade their goaltending. I'm sorry.
Oh, listen, the Habs have Kakinen,
have a bad year.
and they're going to have to waive him if he doesn't make the team, right? If I'm Edmonton, I'd pick him up too. He's better than Pickard, in my opinion.
That's
I think you can actually.
That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Is that, and it's
What's that?
Sorry, Eric. Just a quick on Rick's point. I think you can bury Kakinen before the season starts, before waivers takes, because isn't there a time frame where waivers actually goes into effect?
No, you have to. No, they have to be sent through waivers.
Yeah, I believe he has to start if he's going to be in camp. He has to start on the team, the NHL team, so he has to be waived to go down.
Okay, all right, never mind. I was wrong. Okay,
because that's one point that
that's why Montreal
Jeff Marek has brought it up a couple of times on his pod, is that, and he thinks that Edmonton is waiting for to pounce on. I think it was Boston's DiPietro, who I think they think might be the third goalie there, and there's another team I forget who their third goalie is. That Edmonton is thinking that one of these guys is going on waivers before the season starts, and they're gonna pick up one of them.
I know Kakinen probably is, because I don't think he beats out Dobish, and Montreal signed a guy to a PTO. That if it works out, he'll be in the minors in case Kakinen is picked up on waivers, because he's got NHL experience and his numbers aren't horrible. And if I'm Edmonton and he comes on waivers, I take him. I don't know how you don't.
You have to, like, come on, like Connor Pickard, really, come on. Like he's a career like AHLer. Like, I'm sorry, like he could hang in the NHL for a few games, like, but like.
I wouldn't bet on him being good when you need him, is what I would say,
Right.
You want a guy that can be an adequate backup. And maybe he can, I don't know. But if Skinner gets hurt, if Skinner goes down for any length of time, they are major screwed.
You want to talk about that's it? You want to talk about something sinking your season? You're from a Flyers fan last year. Who, like, we had like the league worst goal save percentage and like one of the worst in history. Like, it's so bad. Like, you think I think even Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl won't even be able to pull you out of that. Like, I'm sorry.
Wow.
So they got to do something. You can't be a team that's expected to compete for a cup and have Skinner and Pickard as your goalie tandem. I'm sorry, but no. You can't.
Third year in a row too. Like, I think at some point you're like. You've used up your luck. It's not going to be good at some point soon, like, right? It's going to backfire. So
I still think that their best opportunity was the 2024 Stanley Cup final. I don't think they're going to I think it's it. I think they got to where they were this past year out of dumb luck. I genuinely don't think and honestly, because Peter DeBoer is a piece of shit, and that's probably why the Dallas Stars lost. He lost the coaching battle. His team was far and away better than Edmonton. It's not even close. You can't even compare them, in my opinion. Like, Jason Robertson didn't have the best playoffs either, but I guarantee you match them up again this upcoming postseason, Dallas is coming out.
But you know what? Sometimes teams just have your number, eh? Like,
that's right.
It's just
sometimes
for whatever reason, teams just have your number.
Might have been all that was there. Hey, let's move on to Vegas, because we just spent like an hour on it. There's a lot to talk about. With
it's easy to freaking pick them apart, dude, because like Edmonton's falling apart.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot to talk about with Edmonton.
Well, dude, it's like Pittsburgh. They're getting, like, a lot of their people are getting older. Like, they don't have.
Well, we can
money.
be quick with Vegas. I mean, Vegas is probably winning this division, no?
Well, let's start.
Before we
before we move on to Vegas, where do you guys feel Edmonton finishes?
That's true.
Second in the division.
Yeah, I think that's where I have them. So
I'm going to be bold. I'm going to say 5th.
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. Every time I
Assuming-
try to
again,
do that with
let's-
Edmonton, they do way better. So I'm just gonna go with second.
Again, I'm just assuming we're going to assume like 4 teams from each division make it, right? We're not going to say 5 or 3 from this. We're just going to assume,
Oh.
right? So I think
Okay.
they just miss it. They're going to be in 5th. I
Well,
don't
you heard
know.
it here
Something about it just doesn't feel right.
Heard it here first, folks.
Just out of pure curiosity, who do you have ahead of them?
Yeah,
that's
didn't think it
that's
through.
the challenge, right?
He didn't think
I
that one
honestly
through.
think
You didn't think
I
it through,
honestly think the Kings system is better.
Okay.
Vegas definitely. Vegas
Vegas,
is
yeah.
winning the division.
Well, not a lot of people
Anaheim?
think the Kings are going
Kings,
far.
Anaheim.
See
Be honest.
now,
You're missing one. You're missing one.
I know that's the problem. I just think they might get 4th and they miss because the Central's better.
That makes more
Like,
sense to me. I'll be
if I'm
honest.
honestly gonna say it like that, that's it.
Yep.
Like, because Seattle, no. You know what?
Mm-mm.
Calgary, maybe,
No.
because
No, I don't think so.
Wolf is really good, but they got some work to do. And but like
Who's backing up Wolf now?
I'll maybe give you Vancouver. Maybe Vancouver. If all goes well.
If Demko is healthy.
Yeah. If Demko's healthy. If
yeah.
Quinn is a Norris Trophy finalist. If Philip Hedl stays healthy and is a true number 2 center. Maybe I'll give you Vancouver.
Yeah. I'm torn between Calgary and Vancouver. I don't know. Something about Calgary just screams like they could possibly do it, but we'll get into that. Yeah, I'll say 4th, 4.5. They're gonna finish at 4.5, and they're gonna miss because the Central Division is just gonna have 5 people in it. Or 5 people. They're gonna have literally 5 people. That's it. 5 teams. I don't know. That's it. I think they might miss, but they're not going to miss by much. I think it's a possibility, but that's just me with a very bold take. I also had Nashville last year finishing as the Stanley Cup champion, so you guys know.
So, yeah, yeah. See, you know what you can do with this.
So I don't know. I just love to rag on teams. So like I don't call it a shitty take. I don't give a shit. I'm just here having fun. So
Well, let's rag on Vegas.
That's all
Vegas. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna rag on them?
I know. I was
Can't
gonna say
rag
we could probably all just agree that you're gonna finish first, and we can move on to the next team. You know what I mean?
No,
Dude,
like,
they're nuts.
yeah.
They're-
Well, look,
they're-
the Pietrangelo loss is a big one, though. I have to admit, like, but I think they have enough depth on defense that they could still like put like a solid 6-man unit out there every night. Goaltending for me with Vegas is a big question mark because yeah, look, they won with Aiden Hill, fine, whatever. But like he struggled a little last year, and personally, I never thought of Aiden Hill as like a full-time starter. I always consider more as a tandem goalie. And like the year they won, again, a lot of people maybe don't remember this. He wasn't the starter in the regular season. He played a limited amount of games. So he was fresh in the playoffs and he got hot and went on a run. So that's the one area for me with Vegas that I would have any concern. But at the end of the day, look, I think they finished either 5th or like I saw on TSN, it says that they were 6th last year in scoring, like goals for per team. I saw them 5th some on another site, so whatever, around that 5-6 mark. So goal scoring shouldn't be an issue for them. Plus, you just fucking added Marner.
Right.
Yeah, what do you mean? No shit. Goal scoring is not going to be like Jack Eichel. What was it? Tomas Hertl, Mitch Marner, Mark Stone.
Dora, what's his name? Dorofiev, the kid that they had.
He's underrated, dude.
Oh, he's such a good player. Yeah.
He's underrated.
They're gonna put up points, my friend. They're gonna put up points and score goals.
Exactly. So they'll probably just like outscore any issues they have. So,
and you know what? It's the kind of team Bruce Cassidy is good at coaching. You don't need it. He does not need a star-studded goaltender. He does not. He plays a good like, two-way game. I should say he doesn't play it, but he coaches it. Like, he has the offense, he has the depth. That team's just deep.
Oh yeah.
Deep.
Oh, I know. Like I said,
don't
I
even
really
know who.
If I had to pick one concern I have with them, it's just goaltending. But that's it. I still think they're gonna finish first in the division. I have no doubts.
But I got a question.
Hill's solid.
What will they be able to do? What will they be able to do in the playoffs when they can't skirt the LTIR rule?
Well, we'll see.
Do you really think this team needs to add?
No, I was just being stupid. I'm sure that you can both agree with.
Well, stop.
Yeah, okay.
Well, they'll probably add some. They'll probably add a little something at the deadline, but probably just something to like patch a hole somewhere. But nothing. You're not gonna see that that like Brad Marchand last at the trade deadline.
Not that high end pickup.
No.
Okay, so where we figure they're gonna finish?
First
in the division. Yeah.
Well, that was easy.
That was easy.
Congratulations, guys. Oh,
okay. Who's next? Calgary or LA? Can do them both together.
Calgary?
No.
Okay.
Come on. Calgary. No, what? No, I wanted to say Calgary. All right, fine. Calgary. Fine.
Okay. What do you want to say about Calgary? Who's going to be the backup there? Anybody know? Who's backing up Wolf this year?
They signed somebody. Devin Cooley right now.
Yes. Oh my God.
So
Eric, you're quick, dude.
Nobody then.
No, but Dustin Wolf he's freaking good.
So Calgary's season could hinge on how Wolf does.
No, hold on. But Rick, hold on. Let me. They have $11 million in cap, or just about $12 million. They have both their first round pick. I'm sorry, they have 2 first round picks this year, their own and Vegas's, and they also have a 3rd round pick. They have everything except a 7th this year, and they have multiples of round 1 and round 3. They're gonna add. That's why I say like they could actually challenge Edmonton. They could add.
They're gonna add when though? At the deadline.
Yes, but
what if they're not
out of the
contention? What if it's too late already by the deadline?
Well, Vegas's pick is going to be picked probably between 28 and 32, so it's not going to be like super valuable. You could imagine that's going to get traded. They're going to try and fill some holes. I bet you.
I'm just saying though. They're going to need to do that earlier in the season to help.
I bet you Nashville's
get the team there. In my opinion, I like for backup goalie. Like who's this Cooley guy? I never heard of him before. Even
Cooley.
No, I think
Cooley. I don't know what the name was.
I think they take a step back this year because if you look at them, and they were the 6th least scoring team in the league last year. They do not score goals,
and they don't score enough goals. Right?
They don't.
They definitely need goal scoring, but they're going to go for it. I guarantee you they're going to go hunting for it. I bet you they also take Korpisalo. They need a backup goaltender. I'll take him.
But at the same time, like I think what they're trying to do, like they didn't use the word rebuild because they're not. I guess they're saying more like a retool. I guess. So that's why I think this is the year that like they take a step back. Because look, Rasmus Anderson, it sounds like he's not resigning. He's gone.
Or they're trading him.
They're trading him. One way or another, he's getting moved by the deadline.
Yeah.
So that's your number 1 D man.
Yeah, but they have Zane Parekh.
Yeah, but Zane Parekh, he's young. He's so young. He's a guy, and we all know that defensemen take time to develop. And especially a player like Parekh, who's all offense, he's like one of those defensemen that's known for his offense, not necessarily his defense. You don't want to rush a guy like that into top minutes. You want to ease him in, give him AHL time if necessary. So it's not, I don't know if he's a guy I could see that might contribute this year to Calgary. He might make the team, but maybe not.
Yeah, but if you're trading Anderson, so maybe that's when you bring him up. So he's got,
so
the season.
Yeah, but their defense is
And
But their
there's also
defense is
been rumors
pretty- I
out
mean,
there.
it's pretty
There's also
good.
been rumors out there that Kadri's available. That Kadri could be traded. So
yeah, that's for sure. That rumor's out there because Montreal was involved in that. But so
Yeah.
I do know that Kadri apparently is on the market.
and I even heard, I don't know, let me check quick, but I know I heard even Backlund's name, but because I think he's a UFA this year, but I
I
might be
might have
wrong
heard
on
that too, actually, about Backlund.
Backlund makes sense because he's fucking ancient.
He's a UFA. He's a UFA at the end of the season.
Yeah, so at the deadline, he's going to be gone.
So, but that's and this is a team that they need to rebuild. Like they have some decent prospects in the pipeline, but at the end of the day, I don't think they're ready at that. They're not at that stage where they could like advance and start competing. But
Yeah,
I
they're
don't know.
not
I think
making the playoffs.
no. The best thing for Calgary is I think another season where they're gonna get a high pick. And like, look, last season, no one expected them to do what they did last year. Nobody.
Dustin Wolf, though. I mean,
Exactly. They wrote like it was all Dustin Wolf last year.
so what if he does that again and then they don't finish as low as they should? That screws them up.
But they didn't make the playoffs.
They just missed. Am I right? They weren't.
I think they were 1 or 2 points out.
A few points off. Yeah.
But we all know that goaltending is 1 year to the next. Who knows? So
True.
Look, I don't think Calgary is making the playoffs this year. No. I really don't. I think they're regressing, especially if they have to move the guys that they have to move out to advance whatever retool rebuild they're in. But I just don't see it for Calgary this year.
Well, Nazem Kadri would need to waive his no movement clause because he currently is under that.
No, even Backlund too has a no move, if I'm not mistaken.
He has a modified.
Okay.
But I think I read Kadri was willing to waive it. I mean, so.
Yeah, which is fine. I think you'll get draft capital for him. I think that's fine. And I think that's bad that you would, because that's probably your 1C, right? Yeah. I just think their defense is decent. I think their goaltending is good. Like I genuinely think that the team like just needs scoring. I think the goaltending is there. I think the defense is there.
Well,
I think where they're lacking is
maybe.
Sure.
Well, Backup's important. He can't play 82 games.
No. But like I'm just saying, like I think defensively, like the whole Rasmus Anderson drama, that sucks. Like, but outside of that, like defensively, I think they're pretty sound. Like, and then you just have Dustin Wolf, but whoever this Devin Cooley guy is, I would bet you that if they honestly feel like they could make a push, and depending where they are, it all depends. I don't know. But I think if they actually spend their money and use their capital wisely, they could find themselves challenging for a playoff spot. Do they want to do that? I don't know.
Is the GM capable of getting them there? I don't know that either.
Well, the players also have to get you there too. Like, it also depends. Like,
but I mean,
the
GM has to make the right moves. I don't know.
Sure.
Personally, I don't know. Not sold on him yet. Isn't that Connolly? That's the GM there.
Craig Conroy, I think.
Conroy, that's who I meant, actually. Conroy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sold on him yet.
Oh, he's young.
Look, I probably have him.
Year.
I probably have him at 5th. If I'm to be honest with you, 5th, 6th, around there, one of those two. I don't think they're going to be last. They're definitely not worse than San Jose or.
No, I think they're better than San Jose or Seattle.
They're 5th or 6th.
I think they're also better than Vancouver.
Vancouver's just a toss up for me because
depends.
It's Vancouver. It's one of those things where it's like if you don't know what's gonna happen with certain guys, and you're like,
you got to see that play out during the season. Like,
it's not even Demko though, Rick. Like, I agree that your point. Like, it's definitely he's gonna need to perform, but I think also if you look at that forward group, I don't know. I think it's more dependent on Elias Pettersson.
Yeah.
And Hedl,
but like Pettersson, Hedl.
Probably it's even like it's 50-50 there, right? Between Pettersson and Demko. But believe me, Demko's it's important. His health is important.
Yeah, but your top left wing is Jake fucking DeBrusk.
Lankin is not a bad goalie, though.
What?
Lankin is not a bad goalie.
He's not bad,
but he's not like a 50 to 60 game starter. That's the only thing.
If he's your backup or, he's playing 30-odd games, Lankinen's fine. But if he's got to be your starter playing 50 games, I think you're in trouble.
That's why I think they got rid of Artur Silovs way too soon.
Oh, yeah.
Way too soon. 100%. I think that's for sure. Unless they have somebody else. I don't know. I don't think so. So didn't they win that championship, the AHL? It wasn't that Seelovs that was in Nets. I mean, it was
MVP of the playoff.
Right. So that's with Demko with the injury problem. That's the guy you trade. Like
he makes no fucking sense, man.
Yeah, that made no sense.
Rick, they also have Jake DeBrusk.
Yeah.
Rick, they also have Jake DeBrusk.
Yeah.
Left wing. That's their top left wing.
They're needy.
I think he's best as a second left winger.
Yeah.
Oh, probably, yeah.
He's not a top line left winger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
they've got holes.
I think they're
they've got holes. But a team that would come in fourth place in the division is going to have some holes. So that's, but I still think your two big things are Demko and Pedersen. If that doesn't work, you're shit out of luck.
And I want to add also Filipino, because I think they're taking a big swing, hoping that he could be healthy and he can actually produce like a 2C. Because if he gets hurt again and miss a big chunk of the season, their center depth is super thin.
What's the name? Because I'm not here. Am I hearing it right?
Filipino, but it's pronounced. It's spelled. Doesn't sound like it's spelled.
CHYTL.
Yeah, but it's pronounced Heidel for some reason.
Oh, you know what, Eric?
Heidel. It's Heidel.
They pronounce it. If everywhere they talk, everywhere they pronounce, it's pronounced Heidel.
Heidel. Okay, Heidel. Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure what you were saying. That's why. I thought you were saying Filipino. I'm saying, who's Filipino? I never heard of this player before.
You know what, Eric? You want to know what? I just don't think it's on those three: Heidel, Pedersen, and Demko. I think it's their top six and Demko. Because I don't know.
Part of the top six. They're part of the top six.
They're all part of the fucking problem. That's the thing. Brock Besser, Connor Garland.
Their top 23. That might be the problem.
I think it's their entire fucking team.
It's their top 23.
They got a pretty decent defense, though.
Roenick. Well, was it a Roenick?
Roenick,
Hughes.
The other Pedersen.
Yeah.
The one.
I mean, their defense is decent. I think Calgary's depth is way better, in my opinion, than Vancouver's, because offensively speaking, because I think they actually do have some true one-liners, first liners there. I don't know. And it's because Vancouver's players haven't really performed. So there's the problem.
But that's what I'm saying with Vancouver. It's such a toss-up, because if they all actually perform the way they're supposed to perform, this is a team that I don't think will be 1 or 2 in the division, but they could fight for 3 or at least a wild card spot.
They could make the playoffs. They could make the playoffs. Yeah.
But that's just the thing with Vancouver. You don't know which Vancouver you're getting. That's the problem with Vancouver.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of teams are like that, but for Vancouver, it's big time.
Sorry, talking about Calgary now.
I know, right? What a great conversation about Calgary. No, I mean, but they're right. Honestly, they're right up there with Vancouver. Yeah, but no, they're right up there with Vancouver, in my opinion. I think they could, if you actually get everyone to play to their ceiling, like Joel Farabee, Morgan Frost, Nazem Kadri, Anderson. If they could put, actually, I think for them it's the locker. If they could put the drama aside, and if they can get a backup goaltender and just maybe a scoring winger, because they have the material that they can do it. They can accomplish this. Or if Jonathan Huberdeau can wake up from whatever fucking, I don't know, what you call a coma that he's been in, then I think you could make a case.
But you got to admit, If is doing a lot of the heavy lifting here.
Well,
and again,
he's doing the same amount of fucking lifting for Vancouver too, but
it's for both teams, right? So both teams, you got to figure they're going to finish one on top of the other, but which way, who the freaking hell knows? That's how I look at it.
I don't know. It's going to be better than Seattle, who's going to finish 9th in the division. It's not even a spot, but that's where they're going to finish.
9th, the first ever 9th in the division.
But for me, like I said, with Calgary, it's more a fact that I think organizationally they don't want to spend assets to try. They're not in a position right now to trade assets to make the team better. I think they're in one of those like, well, because look, they got burned with Goudreau, like RIP, and Kachuk like leaving in free agency. So they're not gonna want to go through that again with
Kachuk was
Rasmus
traded.
Anderson. Yeah, but
Kachuk was traded.
but like he
Did not leave free
basically
agency.
he said he wasn't resigning. Yeah, he got. I understand. Granted, yeah, he got traded, but at the end of the day, like these are players that left that didn't want to be there. So again, I don't think they want to do that with Rasmus Anderson. They don't want to lose him for nothing, as they did like with Goudreau. Same thing with Backlund, though. I could see possibly resigning, but him too. He's at an age where it's like, you know what? Maybe he gets moved at the deadline to a contender, and then maybe he comes back later, like in the season after. Who knows? You know.
Most
So
players
I
do that.
just that's why with Calgary, I have a hard time putting them in the playoffs or even a wild card spot, just because I don't think like if it does happen, it happens because they overachieved like they did last year, or like Wolf just goes Vesna like has like Vesna numbers, and puts them over the top. But or else, I think that's a team that's trying to rebuild, retool, whatever you want. So I
Yeah.
don't think they'll even spend the assets that it would take to like fix a hole here or there if it's gonna cost them like even a second round pick. I think at this point of their rebuild, it's something like that is too much. It's too valuable for them than like even making the playoffs just to get steamrolled in the first round.
Right. They shouldn't
See, I think
waste
it's the-
assets and use up assets to do something that they're not going to be able to do.
See, I think it's mainly their center issue right now. I mean, like Nazem Kadri is very serviceable for them as their 1C right now, right? Because I think that's where they have him. But like Michael Coronado is pretty good too. Like they have
player.
players
Not a
that can
1C.
score. I just don't know if maybe the system is like Igor Sharangovich. He's pretty solid as a second line guy. They have a lot of You know what I think they have? They have a lot of second liners. They don't have a lot of first liners.
No, they don't.
And
No, 100%.
And I think that's where their problem is. I mean, Michael Coronado can develop heavily into a first liner, I think, and I think he will, if not already. But like, yeah, maybe. But it all depends. Like this is another year, and it's another year of development. So we'll have to just see where it goes. I mean, I just think it's possible. You know where I have them? I have them at 4.5. They're with Edmonton at 4.5.
A lot of that, and then
They're the
where's
other
LA
half.
Gonna go? Then where's LA gonna go?
LA's that fucking dude. I don't even know. I'm actually very disappointed with LA.
Go ahead.
What?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Can we're gonna rag on LA now? I love it. Look,
Well, yeah, we
These
figure
guys.
out where
Their
we
next
all-
team up. So.
Yeah.
yeah.
So go
Oh
ahead.
wait, then
I have.
Calgary at what?
Oh God, are we having issues? Oh,
No, I
Calgary
just
at
want
what?
look.
I already said
Calgary where?
4.5.
Okay,
4.5.
Rick, Calgary where?
Oh,
5.5,
I said
actually.
what I said 4 or 5. I don't know. But
Okay, I have them at 5 or 6. Okay, now we can rag on LA.
All right, hold on. Just to be clear, so Eric has them at 5.5.
yeah, maybe
5.5.
5 or 6. I don't know, somewhere in there.
Slags has them somewhere, but definitely between 1 and 8.
Definitely between 1 and 8. No,
Definitely
I would
between
say
1 and 8.
between 4 and 8. They're not in the top.
Yeah,
three.
I'm probably between 4 and 6, somewhere between there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It really
Yeah.
depends.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I can't sit like if Dustin Wolf like goes off, I can't. There's just too much. There's too many there's too many intangibles right now that to discuss over it. LA, fuck those guys. Well, losing Gavrikov was probably the biggest piece. And now they just lost Corey Perry for quite some time, which I mean, that's not really a loss. That's just cap relief. The biggest thing I have with this team is they need to figure out what they have in Brant Clark. I think their right side on defense, if they trust him, is pretty solid. With Doughty leading the helm, then you have Brant, and then you have Cody Ceci at the depth, because at least Cody Ceci, as so long as he sees less ice time, he's hurting nobody. But you did just pay him $4.5 million, and I don't know why you did that. They do have Mikey Anderson, a solid defenseman. Brian Dumoulin, Joel Edmondson. These guys are not bums. They're just older.
They're aging.
According to according to but according if Alex was here though, he would just literally say like, "Oh, anyone over the age of 30 is dead in the NHL." No, it's not the case. Like Alex
Not
has
in
such a I don't
defense.
know. He has such a like weird purview of like age in the NHL. It's like, yeah, like 32 is still in your prime. Brian Dumoulin, serviceable, I think, third guy. Edmondson, third guy. But Kyle, I don't know. Jacob
They're aging,
Moverare.
though. Edmondson's getting old. Dumoulin's starting to get up there and declining with that.
I think they're fine on the right side on defense. I think their left side needs work. Outside of Mikey Anderson, I don't think you have a top pairing guy.
Well, Doughty.
Doughty, yeah.
well, no, sorry, on the left. I'm talking on the left.
Okay, on the
like
left.
What I mean. Like that's where I think they need the most help, and they don't really have. They have $2.6 million, and I think you're going to have to try and go find a second pairing left defenseman. So find a way to make that work.
Not with that money, you're not finding a second.
Listen. They have all of their picks this year and a couple extras in the third and the sixth.
Okay. So
they can add also by subtraction. So they could subtract Edmondson or Dumoulin or something like that, and then get a guy. I'm definitely keeping one of those two. But that's I think where their issues are. But their offense I think is fine. It's the same thing. It's their defense that I'm worried about.
Yeah,
and their goaltending, which is
Well, look, Darcy Kemper had got Vezina votes last year. Like he was solid last year.
Yeah, he's fucking 35 years old though.
Yeah, no. Look, granted, but that's also to my point is is he gonna play that well again this year? Like you said, he is 35. So even if he regresses a little bit, then again the defense, like you mentioned, okay, Doughty's still Doughty, but he's up there in age. And Brent Clark, now it's your time to shine, buddy. But it seemed like the coach really didn't like that guy. So
last year, right? Were they thinking of trading him? There was rumors about that last year.
There were rumors, but if LA trades him, man, look, LA did a little mini rebuild, a few years back, right? And think of all the guys now that they traded away from that. What the fuck? What are you doing? I don't understand it. I don't.
They trade him to Calgary.
Come on, man.
For Rasmus Anderson.
Oh my god. But they trade Spence to that's a trade I'm sorry. I did not understand.
What were they doing?
What? Why? Why did you feel like you needed to trade him? Why? It makes and then not only
you're
that,
out on Brant Clark.
But and then you trade a good young puck moving defenseman for two guys that are and in Dumoulin and CC that are old as hell. and okay, can they provide a little something probably on your bottom pair? Yeah, sure. A little more veteran bottom pair. But did you have to give them that kind of term? What are we doing? What are we doing? And look, the thing with they add on the fourth line. Okay, that's great. But now you have teams like Anaheim that added scoring power. So I don't know. I just think LA takes a step back this year. I think teams that were behind them last season are gonna leapfrog them this year. And I could definitely see Anaheim leapfrogging LA. And if 5 teams come out of the Central, I think LA is the odd team out.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
I think it hinges on you guys mentioned that you or Rick, you said that Vancouver season is hinging on Demko and a couple other factors there. I think LA's season is definitely going to hinge on Kemper and the goalie tandem there. But I also think it's going to largely be on the defense too. I think the offense is the same. You added on the fourth line. I think you got what you need. I think you got what you need on the fourth. Or I'm sorry, not the fourth, but the forwards. But I think you definitely need help on the left side. There's pieces missing there. You have Mikey Anderson, like I just said, good, but you have Dumoulin and Joel Edmondson. You can't keep both of them. You got to get rid of one. They're effectively third pairing guy is now, and on honestly, I would look at what teams, like maybe a couple of pick or something, try to get yourself into a position to get yourself a solid like second pair left defenseman. It will cost, but if the Kings are in win now mode, I mean, I would argue that if you get another left pairing left D, I think the Kings will be better for sure. I think it hinges on that, them acquiring a left defenseman and their goaltending, like, coming through, because they still have Kopitar, they still have Doughty, Quentin Byfield is on the rise, they have Adrian Kempe, they have the pieces. They have Kevin Fiala, who's been wonderful for them. I think they have it. It's the defense that I get worried about. I have them at 5.5.
100%. No, but 100%. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Cam. Because their offense is legit. Like, they have some really, really good pieces up there. But like I wonder about their defense. Like, it's the one big question mark. And like, it's also, can Kemper repeat what he did last year? And like, I actually like the Anton Forsberg addition as backup, because he's solid. He's a solid
backup. Yeah.
And he could at worst he could tandem. I mean, at best he could tandem. So, like, you know what? But like I said, like we said, like, it all depends on how that defense holds up, because Gavrikov is a massive, massive loss. So now you have to elevate someone like Mike Anderson. You're gonna have to give him those extra minutes,
which I think he can.
He
I'll
probably
specify
could.
that Mikey Anderson 100%. Will, and he can.
Oh, I have no doubt that he can. But now who's taking his spot? Cody Ceci, Brian Dumoulin,
no,
Joel Edmondson. No,
Cody Ceci's a right defenseman.
No, but that's why they could anyway. But like, you can still play the other side.
You could if you wanted to, but no. If I'm keeping Cody Ceci as far away as many minutes as possible, I'm putting him on as a depth piece, unless he cleans up his game.
But that's my point. That these guys are at this point in their careers. I'm sorry, they're either third pair or seventh defenseman. That's what they are. So like, I don't think they properly replaced Gavrikov, and you better hope and pray that Drew Doughty stays healthy this year, because he's been battling injuries the last couple seasons, and Brent Clark takes a step, because that defense could be very if things go wrong.
I mean, Brent Clark is also very young too, and I mean, he's 20, I believe. He's 22. Like, it does take time to develop the defenseman, but like, this guy, when he was drafted, he was a pretty high draft pick. If I'm not mistaken, right? He was pick 8 in 2021, and he was touted to be a pretty solid defenseman, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Right now on the depth chart, he's the RD2, which is where I would put him, because if you put CC over him, I think you're smoking dope. No. But I think you need a veteran defenseman. You can't put Mikey Anderson with him, and not, in my opinion, you can't. You have to put a veteran defenseman with him if you really want this kid to develop and to learn. Go get a veteran defenseman. And I think that's what they did when they got Brian Dumoulin, because I think he's going to be on your second pair. And because I don't think you're going to pair Joel Edmondson any higher than pairing 3. I think that's where you best want to pair Joel Edmondson.
Yeah.
But again, I think there's better options out there than Brian Dumoulin. And I bet you at the deadline, we'll see that. Nashville will be selling 100%. They're not going to do anything. And they probably have some defensemen to give. Seattle will be selling. Now, will they probably sell to you? Well, maybe. That'll remain to be seen. But try to go get, to me, it's the question of, who do you have for that second pair defensive piece? And who replaces Gavrikov on the top? Because I would expect it to be Mikey Anderson. And I think he's fine. Him with Drew Doughty, I don't have a problem with. But yeah, I agree. Gavrikov, big loss. Offense is fine. The offense is the only thing I don't have a gripe with.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Byfield could actually take that like next step and actually like solidify himself as the 2C on the team, if not like the heir apparent to Kopitar, hopefully eventually. Because running Dano as your second line center, not ideal.
It wasn't ideal when he was here in Montreal. I can imagine a few years later. Even less so ideal. But as a third line center, Dano is pretty good.
Yeah, 100%.
Philip Dano is a great third line center.
Yeah, a great third line center.
Like, he had some good years after he left Montreal as like the 2C in LA. It's that now at this point, I think he's better served as
Right.
a 3.
He could play 2C. But he wasn't a top end 2C. But I mean, 3-4 years later,
No, exactly.
yeah, he's a 3.
Biggest comparison is Charlie Coyle. Can he do it? Yes. Is that his most serviceable spot? No. Like Charlie Coyle is a more serviceable third line center. That is where he's at his peak performance. But if you need to, yes, he can definitely play on the second line. Same thing with Philip Deneau.
You can intermix them depending on matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm high on Byfield. Is a guy I always even wanted the Flyers at one point, but like LA was like, no fucking way we're trading this guy. So
God,
yeah,
you
but I think he
sound
could
like
do it.
Jamey, dude. Jamey wants everybody on the fucking Philadelphia Flyers. Like, I'm pretty sure he's trying to dig up Bobby Hull or whatever, Gordie Howe, somebody. I don't know. Somebody has long since passed. He's trying to dig him up and be like, you want to come back and play hockey? The
Sign
Flyers
on
could
the
use
dotted
you.
line.
It's okay. Connor McDavid's signing with us next offseason.
Yeah, sure. All right, so where does LA finish?
I have them 4th.
Who did we have first and second and third then?
I had
Vegas
first, Edmonton second, and I have Anaheim as third.
Right, Anaheim from before. That's right. That's
last
right.
pod.
I'm gonna be bold and say Vegas won. I'm gonna change my mind. I'm in 10 at 2, but I really don't want to just because fuck. I just keep getting disappointed by that team.
Stick to your guns. Come on.
No, Edmonton at 2.
You're gonna go 2. You had them in 5th.
I am gonna go Edmonton at 2 because that. No, I'm gonna like honestly, what my heart tells me is that yes, they're gonna be second in the division or third. It'll be one of those two. I have Anaheim at 3, and then not Vegas. Sorry, the Kings at 4, but it could be close. Like I could again, but it's between them, Vancouver, and Calgary for 4 to 6. It could be one of those. Like that's my real prediction for you. Like that is what I would honestly see. So I have LA at 4. I think they're good enough, and I think their offense is good enough to get them there. But that defense, a little thin.
We'll see.
Rick.
Yeah, I probably agree with you. I mean, I don't know, 3rd or 4th. That's what I'm gonna say.
3.5.
3.5.
3.5.
3.5.
There you go.
That's what I'm gonna do every time now. I don't have a decision. I'm gonna be like, fuck, I don't know, like 1, maybe 2, 1.5.
A lot of half teams here tonight.
I actually like this with the halves. That makes it a little easier.
It's because I don't even know what to do with it. Like I can't even say like Vegas is the only true one. Edmonton could be 2 or 3. Anaheim could be 3 or 4. LA honestly could be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever. Like honestly, it just depends. After 1, it just gets it's a dogfight.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I agree 100%. Like I said, I think Vegas and Edmonton are the only 2 teams in this division that for me are locks for the playoffs that will end up in the playoffs. The rest, who knows?
Let's see what happens.
Man,
take a dice roll.
I can make a case for any of these teams. Any of them, I can make a case.
Yeah.
It's just
pretty much.
The Central's also really good, so I could honestly see 5 teams from the Central. I could see 5 teams from the Atlantic too, which we're going to cover next week. We're going to start with them. We're going to start with the bottom 4 teams next week for the Atlantic. But there's just like half of the divisions, like the Atlantic and the Central, I could just see 5 teams making because they are that deep.
Yeah,
but who knows?
Oh yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if 5 teams comes out of the Central. That's for 100% sure.
Yeah,
because honestly, I think in the Central there's like 6 teams that could realistically like make the playoffs, and I wouldn't even know how to classify it.
There's only 2 teams in the Pacific.
Wouldn't that be funny? They can't do that, but would be funny.
It's impossible. Could you imagine if that's how they did do it? They could do it if it went to, I think, through 1 to 8 seeding, right? If they did do that, I think they could.
No,
in theory.
In theory, I think you might be right, but it would be like so rare. Like It'll be hard.
Oh wait, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know.
Yeah, in 1 to 8 seating, yeah, they would in theory be able to do that.
Well, then by that
Or maybe not.
total,
I
but it
don't
wouldn't
know.
happen. But by that total, you could have one division could take all 8 spots, but it wouldn't
No,
happen.
that would-
It's not possible. Obviously,
I have
the
no
division
idea.
leader has to go in anyway. But yeah, okay, I'm an idiot.
Cool.
We've established that.
Oh God, no! It was a good. That was a good discussion on that. I don't know. Like that. That's the thing. The Pacific is just. I don't know. Is it the weakest division? Could we say that? I don't know.
In
It's either
hockey?
them or the Metro.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
between.
I
them.
think the Pacific is weaker than the Metro.
Yeah, only because your
Okay.
team's in the Metro.
Yeah.
But that's...
Of course.
No, but even the Flyers on the up and up. No, I agree. I think the Pacific is
No,
the
but-
weakest
yeah.
division. And that's
Yeah,
okay.
I think-
I mean, you got to have, and that's going to pivot, right? Like eventually, like the Atlantic is going to die off, and then the Pacific is going to rise. It's how it's going to happen. Like it's not saying like it's not to discourage any fans of the teams. It's just that's just the
Rise
reality of it.
Pacific.
That's the NHL. It was the way it's just like in football. Like 1 year, the NFC North, was so strong for how many years? They were like one of the best divisions in football, and then like a few years back could have been one of the worst divisions in football. But
Everything's cyclical, right?
exactly
It's gonna happen.
ebbs and flows,
Gonna
guys.
happen.
Ebbs and flows.
All right,
right.
well, guys, we're gonna close out with a who'd you. In this case, it's a what you'd rather. But
Is it a what you rather?
yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess
well, it's
so.
technically a what you'd rather.
Still
It's
a
not a
who.
who's
No,
one
it's
thing.
still a who. Still a who.
Well, I guess.
Person.
We're not
I
talking
know.
about a person.
It's a
More of a
person. So
position.
it's a who.
Yeah,
but it's a
more of
position.
Time for
that's
us to turn this into an English lesson now.
All right, guys. Any final thoughts on the Pacific before we move on?
Oh, I thought we had already moved on.
Yeah, I thought we moved. Okay, where's division in hockey?
Yeah.
There we go.
That's my final thought.
There you go. Same here. Right?
Yep.
So that's what we agreed on. All right.
All right. Well, let's close out with who or what you'd rather, whatever it is going to be. Ladies and gentlemen, so
Who?
typically we shut up. I was rolling, buddy.
Is that
Take two.
I said who?
Take two. Typically we would have two players and we would debate on who we would rather have and then why. We're going to switch it up a little bit tonight and we're actually going to discuss, would we rather have a franchise goalie, franchise defenseman, or franchise forward? Eric, why don't you lead us off with it?
This one actually is a little hard. For me, it's definitely not goalie. Because
no?
I think it's if you're gonna build your team around a goalie, it's not the right way to go. It rarely ever works out. Like a lot of teams that build their teams around goalies.
That's
never-
Montreal.
Yeah,
It didn't
exactly.
work. I love Carey Price, but it didn't work.
You know, and like you look at, but then people can be like, oh, but look at Sergei Bobrovsky. But like, no, I'm sorry, but like, did you see the team Florida has in front of Bobrovsky? Like, come on, he helps, yeah.
Yeah, he's not a
But, like,
franchise goalie by
by
he gets
true
paid, but, like-
definition, I guess.
Yeah,
But
I agree
anyway.
with Cam. I don't think he's a franchise goalie by definition.
But like also like you look at Tampa Bay, right? And like Tampa Bay has Vasilevsky. And look, they won cups with Vasilevsky. Great for them. But after they paid Vasilevsky, guess what? No more cups. So
Yeah.
no. So I'm really debating between defenseman and center, but I think I would lean a little bit towards center. Now we said franchise forward. If you're asking me if I want a number one defenseman or a number one winger, then I'll take the defenseman every day. But the way I see it is I'd rather have, though, a number one center, like a true elite number one center over a number one defenseman. I just personally think if you have, it's easier to win with like a decent defenseman and maybe like a solid 6, but you really need that center. You really need that center to elevate, even just to elevate the wingers that he plays with, to like bring your team into the fight and everything. I don't know. If I had to lean one, I'd lean towards center.
Want me to go next?
I mean, it's pretty solid.
You
Yeah,
go.
Rick, why don't you go ahead?
You because I'm going to be
You want me to go?
contrary to both of you. You want to go, and then I'll be contrary.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah.
You go.
Sure. I mean,
You go.
I, like Eric. I was on the fence. I definitely don't. I would not rather have a franchise goaltender. To me, it takes a team to win a cup, and it's not just the goaltender that can do it. I mean, obviously, they're a huge part of it. Like Vasilevsky, Bobrovsky, Marc-Andre Fleury, just to name a couple. Like Tim Thomas. Like there's a. I mean, I wouldn't call Tim Thomas necessarily a franchise goaltender, but like a lot of good goaltenders need to be there. Jonathan Quick. But if you look at a lot of the guys like Igor Shesterkin, who got paid, yeah, they didn't go far in the playoffs. Henrik Lundqvist, like one of the most unfortunate things that he never got a Stanley Cup. So goalie was out for me. And I think of defensemen, like I think of Zdeno Chara, Drew Doughty. Just as a couple examples, for them. So you could definitely see a case for a franchise defenseman, like being a leader and taking them there. Even though I believe Brown was the captain when LA won their first cup. I think it was,
Yeah,
right?
Dustin Brown.
Dustin
Yeah.
Brown.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. And I think Alex Petrangelo was the captain of St. Louis, and I think he
I
was
think
also
you might be right. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe
Yeah,
so.
so
No, wasn't Ryan O'Reilly.
Ryan
wait.
O'Reilly, I think,
St.
was
Louis,
he an A?
Petrangelo with the Blues or Petrangelo with the Knights?
Blues.
Yeah, Petrangelo with the Knights, I think, was captain, but
I
with the
think he
Blues
was.
was Ryan O'Reilly.
Was
it?
O'Reilly the captain?
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly, but again, still a franchise
Ryan O'Reilly
defenseman.
was
No,
the
I
captain.
think it
That's a
might have been
captain.
Petrangelo because I think Petrangelo was the captain before O'Reilly got there.
I think it was okay. I would go with Ryan, but it doesn't matter here. It doesn't matter, but I would. Go
Yeah,
with
but
Ryan.
you look at there's examples on across the board, right? Like where you could argue like the franchise, like when you look at captaincies too, but then you look on the other side of the spectrum, like Jonathan Toews, who was the captain of the Blackhawks, like the Sidney Crosby and a lot of the centers and the franchise forwards that do it. Personally, on the side of a franchise forward. I see the case for defenseman, and again, this was really close for me. You could easily sway me to go franchise defenseman. My mentality is typically you do build from the crease outward, meaning that you don't start with the goaltending, but you start with who's in front of the goaltending.
Yeah.
However, recently in the modern NHL, I think you do need that franchise forward that can score you the 100+ points and be that difference maker in the playoffs. Because you're seeing more and more often now that while having these franchise defensemen that are great and having these skilled goaltenders are also great, but what's leading the way, especially in the case of the Edmonton Oilers, I mean, look at what McDavid and Draisaitl did a couple of years ago. They basically carried them, all the way there. So I think that I'd have to go franchise forward just with that in mind.
I'm from a different era, you guys, so maybe that's why I'm going to go with franchise defenseman. Now, I'll agree with. I think I might agree a bit with Eric with saying that if you're talking about a winger or you're talking about a center, it's a difference as far as the forward. So there is a difference. But for me, I'll put it the way I wrote it here in our notes. So if you ask me in the day to choose between Bobby Orr or Wayne Gretzky, I'm taking Bobby Orr. And there's and you might think I'm crazy and you can laugh at me, but Bobby Orr could carry the puck for minutes and nobody could take it from him. Like that kind of, but Bobby Orr meant so much to the Boston Bruins and was so much a part of what they did. And he was the best. I think if you can find a guy like that, it's a no-brainer. But I think also in general, you do start from the back end out, and I'm going to go with the defenseman first. But I do think if you have a choice, like if I had a choice between another number one defenseman and a short thing number one center, superstar, I don't know. That's a hard decision to make. That's a really hard. So, like you guys, it was difficult for me, but I went with defenseman. Long way around to get to that conclusion.
I think it's a good comparison. I mean, like I said, I could be swayed to go to defenseman easy. Like, you know what I mean?
No,
like, I don't think it's
same.
I don't think the gap between forward and defenseman is so wide.
No.
I think you're like right there. and like you could teeter depending on like what you're looking for. Like you bring up a good point, like Eric said, like he'll take the franchise center over franchise right D man or something like that, or
a winger, like a franchise winger. You take the defenseman,
yeah,
center. It makes a difference. It does. I agree with
Yeah,
that.
it does.
yeah.
So maybe it depends on the year, like what's available. If it's the center, then you go the center. If it's the D man, it's not a hard decision really. Both are valuable, both are needed. So it's really close though.
Yeah, I mean, if you also look at the case of Cale Makar too, because like and Quinn Hughes, like those are franchise D men, right? Like those are guys that can also score points. So like it also depends on the type of defenseman you're looking for. So I mean, but right now, like if it was back in the day, like like you were mentioning, Rick, like I would probably go franchise defenseman over a franchise forward, because back then I think better defense meant a lot more because the goaltending wasn't as sophisticated as it is now.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially if you're talking the '80s, when goal scoring was crazy numbers. They were the forwards were getting, but I mean, if you have a guy, especially if you had a talent like Bobby Orr, I don't think there's a choice. Like, I'm not joking. I would take Bobby Orr. Like, if you could know in advance, so I know Bobby Orr, Gretzky. I'm not joking. I would take Bobby Orr. Because Bobby Orr he couldn't put up the full numbers that Gretzky did, but Bobby Orr could do it almost without anybody else. Gretzky couldn't do that. Gretzky couldn't carry the puck around the ice, like literally around the whole ice, and nobody could take it from him. So if you got a guy like that, I'd take that guy over anybody else. But I think it would be really tough whether I take a forward or defenseman. But I just wanted to be contrary to you guys, so I definitely said defenseman. It's fun that way.
And just quick, just to clarify a couple things. Mark Stone is the captain of the Golden Knights. He's been the captain since 2021 season. And the captain of the Blues when they won the cup was Pietrangelo. And he was the captain since the 2016 season. And O'Reilly only joined the Blues.
That was when they lost Bacchus.
Yeah, and O'Reilly joined the Blues in the 18-19 season.
Okay, so when they won the
was
cup,
already the captain when he got there.
Right. So when they won the cup, Pietrangelo was there, right?
Yeah. Okay. He was the captain when they won. Pietrangelo was the captain when they won the cup.
Okay, there you go.
Well, he wasn't not the captain.
What?
Oh, cool. Fun fact.
I didn't hear what you said.
I said, well, he wasn't not the captain.
He wasn't not the captain. That's two negatives, isn't it?
He wasn't not.
Not?
Yeah, it's double negative. There you go. Welcome to the English class. All right, guys. Final thoughts on the game. What do you guys think? I thought this one was a little bit. I thought this one was a little bit harder, like than actually picking a player, because then I think when you pick a player, you have a preference.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
it was a little tough. I'll be honest. I had a hard time with debating between.
Yeah, me too. Though I had the same thing. So we all had the same thing. That's how close. I mean, it's a close decision. Like it's almost like it doesn't really matter which one you take. You're still right. Kind of right. Although I think if it's a winger, it might be different. So putting it as forward might have left it. I don't know. A little more,
that's intentional. Like you want the ambiguity.
Yeah, that's the word. There you go. I like the word.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure it out.
Fans, be on the lookout on our Twitter account for a poll. In our Instagrams too. I believe on our Instagram we can actually have polls as well. We're gonna poll you guys and see what you guys think, or you can leave your comments down in the section on it. But next week we'll definitely revisit it and see what the fans had to say regarding what they would rather have: a goaltender, defenseman, or a franchise forward. But outside of that, that's going to do it for episode 82. We are
episode 82.
We are less than a week away for preseason. Hockey is back, guys.
Oh yeah, it's preseason. It's funny because I was thinking we better do the Atlantic Division all next week because the season's about to start. No, it's preseason.
Preseason's about to start.
Yeah. We will definitely be back next week. Talking about the final division, the Atlantic will start with the bottom teams, and then the week after, we will close it out with the top teams. And then the season's pretty much the week after that, guys. So then we're going to just jump right into it. So we'll mix in some prediction, maybe some more predictions based upon how the preseason looks for some of these teams. And then, just stick with us on this roller coaster ride and look out for those polls. And don't forget to follow us at Don't Puck with Media. That is at Don't Puck with Media. Don't forget, too, we also have a website where you can read all of our blogs. Eric just wrote one. It's a very awesome piece. I can't remember what it's about. It's so awesome, I forgot.
Read my shit, too.
And Rick also submitted a wonderful tribute to Ken Dryden, so please to give that a look. It's a great read. It's a very wonderful personal story. So check that out at don'tpuckwithmedia.com. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow on all of our social medias, on all of our YouTube, comment. We love to hear your thoughts, especially when we go off on crazy tangents. Until next time, guys, have a good night.
And hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Have a good night.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Whoop.
Promises